What if I told you the moment my family laughed was the moment everything broke? It started at the top of the stairs. A shove, not hard, just enough. I heard my sister behind me, calm, almost amused, like this was harmless fun. My foot missed the step, and suddenly the world tilted. I hit the floor hard, my head snapping back as pain exploded through my skull. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, trying to breathe while the hallway spun. My ears rang. My vision blurred. From above me, my sister sighed. "Emma, don't be so dramatic." That sentence mattered more than the fall, because the moment she said it, the story was already written. My parents rushed in seconds later, not panicked, annoyed. My mother looked between us, already tired. Before I could speak, my sister answered for me. "She tripped," she said easily. "You know how she is." That was always the explanation. Clumsy, emotional, overreacting. I tried to push myself up. My hands shook. My stomach rolled violently. "My head hurts," I whispered. "I think something's wrong." My mother's expression tightened, not with fear, with irritation. "Emma, stop," she said. "Your father has an important dinner tonight." That was the rule in our house. Don't cause problems. Don't make scenes. Don't embarrass the family. I thought about the exam I had the next morning, the one I'd already been warned I couldn't miss again. If I went back to the hospital, I knew exactly how this would be framed later. My sister stood quietly beside them, arms folded, watching. She didn't look at me. This wasn't new. The bumps, the slips, the accidents that only happened when no one else was paying attention. Each one small enough to explain away. Each one leaving something behind. But this time, my body wouldn't cooperate. When I tried to stand, my legs gave out completely. Everything went black. I woke up under harsh white lights. Machines beeped steadily. My head throbbed worse than before. The smell of disinfectant burned my nose. My parents stood near the bed. My father paced. My mother scrolled through her phone. "This always happens," my father muttered. "She finds a way to draw attention." A doctor entered the room and stopped at the foot of my bed. He didn't speak right away. He studied my chart. Then he looked at me, then at my parents. "We need to run some tests," he said. My parents objected immediately. From the doorway, my sister watched the doctor closely, not me. And in that moment, I understood something clearly for the first time. They weren't worried about what happened to me. They were worried about what the tests might reveal. The scan the doctor ordered wasn't routine, and my parents knew exactly why. They didn't refuse the scan outright. They tried to soften it first. My mother spoke carefully, like she was choosing words meant to calm the room. "Is all of this really necessary?" she asked. "People fall all the time." The doctor didn't answer her immediately. He glanced at the chart again, then looked at me. My head still throbbed, the dull ache spreading behind my eyes like pressure that wouldn't release. "She lost consciousness," he said. "That changes things." My father folded his arms. "We have our own doctors," he replied. "We'll handle follow-up." Follow-up. Tomorrow. That word settled heavily in my chest. Tomorrow was when things faded, when symptoms became exaggerations, when concerns turned into inconveniences everyone wanted to forget. The doctor straightened slightly. His voice stayed even. "This isn't optional," he said. "Imaging needs to happen now." I stared down at the blanket, the familiar tension tightening in my shoulders. I could already feel it, the unspoken expectation that I should agree, cooperate, make this easier for everyone. From the doorway, my sister shifted her stance. She hadn't spoken once. She didn't need to. Her eyes stayed on the doctor, tracking him the way someone tracks a problem. When he said imaging, her jaw tightened briefly. I noticed. A nurse arrived with a wheelchair. As she helped me sit up, my mother leaned closer, her voice low. "Emma," she said, "you don't need to make this bigger than it is. We're already here." I nodded automatically. It was a reflex by now. As we moved down the hallway, I glanced back. My sister was already on her phone, typing quickly. Not upset, not worried. Focused. The imaging room was cold and overly bright. The technician explained the procedure with practiced ease. I lay still as the machine hummed, the sound vibrating through my skull. When it finished, the technician lingered longer than expected. She adjusted something on the screen, paused, leaned in closer. Then she asked me my name again. After that, she left the room without explanation. Minutes passed. When she returned, her expression was polite but different, careful. "I just need to get the doctor," she said. That was when unease finally cut through the haze. Back in my room, my parents waited. My father checked his watch again. My mother paced near the window. "This shouldn't take this long," she muttered. "It was just a fall." The door opened. The doctor stepped in, and this time he wasn't alone. I didn't need anyone to explain it to me. Whatever the scan showed, it hadn't confirmed an accident. It had challenged a version of events my family was used to controlling. The scan revealed injuries that didn't match a fall, and suddenly, timing mattered. The doctor didn't sit down. That was the first thing I noticed. He stood at the foot of the bed, holding a thicker folder than before, not rushed, not casual. He glanced at my parents briefly, then looked back at me like he'd already decided who this conversation belonged to. "How long have the headaches been happening?" he asked. My mother answered immediately. "She's always had them," she said. "She's sensitive." The doctor nodded once, but his eyes stayed on me. "Emma," he said gently, "I need you to answer." My mouth felt dry. "I don't know," I said, then quieter, "a while." "How long is a while?" I searched my memory. It wasn't one moment, it was dozens. "Months," I said. The room seemed to hold its breath. The doctor opened the folder and angled it slightly away from my parents. I couldn't see details, just overlapping grayscale images. "These scans don't show a single injury," he said carefully. "They show multiple impacts." My mother let out a short laugh, the kind people use when a conversation turns somewhere they don't want it to go. "That doesn't make sense," she said. "She falls a lot." The doctor didn't respond to the tone. "Some findings are recent," he continued. "Others show signs of healing." Healing. The word settled slowly. Healing meant time. It meant this hadn't happened once. It had happened, stopped, and happened again. My father straightened. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying the imaging doesn't align with a one-time fall," the doctor replied evenly. My chest tightened as memories rearranged themselves. The headaches before exams. The nausea before performances. The days I was told to rest instead of ask questions. The way my sister always seemed calm afterward. I looked toward the door. She stood there, arms crossed, posture rigid. Her eyes weren't on me. They were fixed on the doctor, alert, tracking. "Has anyone else been present during these incidents?" he asked. My mother shook her head too quickly. "She's alone most of the time." The doctor wrote something down. "When a minor presents with repeated head trauma," he said, "we're required to document patterns." My heartbeat picked up. "And consult." My father frowned. "Consult who?" The doctor closed the folder. "Appropriate parties." The weight of that settled heavily. As he stepped out, my mother turned to me, her voice low and controlled. "You didn't need to say all that," she whispered. "You're making this worse." But this time, her words didn't settle me, because something had shifted. This wasn't about one fall. This was about a pattern, and I was standing inside it. The doctor wasn't just documenting injuries anymore. He was preparing to bring someone in the family couldn't manage. The doctor didn't come back alone. That was how I knew this had moved beyond conversation. A woman followed him into the room, dressed simply, a thin folder pressed against her chest. She didn't rush. She didn't smile. She scanned the room the way someone does when they're trained to notice what isn't being said. "Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell," the doctor said, his tone formal now. "This is Miss Alvarez. She's a case manager with the hospital." My mother stood immediately, smoothing her jacket. "Is this really necessary?" she asked. "There's been a misunderstanding." Miss Alvarez didn't answer right away. She nodded politely, then turned to me. "Emma," she said, pulling a chair closer, "is it okay if I ask you a few questions?" She waited. That pause mattered. I nodded. My parents exchanged a look. My father cleared his throat. "We're right here." "That's fine," Miss Alvarez replied evenly. "But I'll be speaking with Emma directly." The air shifted. She asked simple questions, how I felt, whether I felt safe, whether I'd been injured before. Each answer felt heavier than the last. When she asked if anyone had ever caused me harm, my mother stepped forward. "This is getting out of hand," she said sharply. "Our family doesn't need strangers interfering." Miss Alvarez looked at her calmly. "This isn't interference," she said. It's procedure. Procedure. That word landed differently than anything else said that night. My sister stood near the wall, arms folded tight, posture rigid. She wasn't watching me. She was watching Miss Alvarez. Based on the imaging and medical history, Miss Alvarez continued, we're required to file a report and involve external services. My father's jaw tightened. You're making accusations. No, she said. We're documenting risk. The difference mattered. She turned back to me. You haven't done anything wrong. Answering questions doesn't get you in trouble. I swallowed. For years, speaking up had always felt like the mistake. My mother's voice dropped, urgent. This will follow her. You're putting ideas in her head. Miss Alvarez closed her folder. What follows someone, she said, is what's already happened, not the report. No one spoke. The authority in the room had shifted completely. My parents weren't arguing anymore, they were calculating. As Miss Alvarez stood to leave, she paused beside my bed. I'll be back, she said quietly, and we'll talk again, separately. After they left, my mother turned to me, her expression tight. Do you realize what you've done? She whispered. For the first time, I didn't apologize, because whatever came next, I knew one thing for certain. This was no longer something my family could contain. The report was already filed, and by morning, the truth wouldn't belong to them anymore. The morning after the hospital felt quieter than it should have. Not peaceful, just hollow. I woke up in a different room, not at home. A temporary place arranged quickly, efficiently. No arguments. No explanations dressed up as concern. Just decisions made without debate. My phone buzzed once. A message from my mother. We need to talk about what you told them. I didn't answer. By noon, the process I'd only heard described in careful language began to move forward. Appointments were scheduled. Follow-ups arranged. Records requested. No one asked my parents for permission. That was the strangest part. For the first time, things were happening without them guiding the outcome. A caseworker met with me later that day. She spoke plainly. No accusations. No sympathy designed to soften the truth. These situations don't usually start with one incident, she said. They start with patterns. I nodded. She didn't ask me to relive everything. She didn't push. She just documented what I could say and left space where I couldn't. When she asked about my sister, I hesitated. I don't think she meant for it to go this far, I said finally. The caseworker wrote that down too, without judgment. That doesn't change what happened, she replied. I didn't argue. Over the next few weeks, pieces of my life were returned to me quietly. Medical care without dismissal. School accommodations without punishment. People who spoke to me instead of around me. My parents tried to regain control through messages and meetings, and carefully worded apologies that never quite reached responsibility. My sister didn't contact me at all. I heard about her instead through reports, through adults using measured language. Counseling, monitoring, restrictions, nothing dramatic, just accountability. One afternoon, months later, I sat at a desk filling out paperwork when I realized something had changed. My head didn't hurt. Not that day, not the day before. The pattern had stopped. That was when it finally settled in. The most important thing that happened wasn't the scan, or the report, or the intervention. It was that someone believed me and then acted. Not because of emotion, not because of persuasion, but because the truth had been recorded. My family never apologized the way I once imagined they would, but they didn't need to, because the silence they used to control me no longer worked. And the system that replaced it didn't ask me to be quiet. Sometimes the truth doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives in forms, records, and follow-ups, and once it does, it can't be pushed to tomorrow.